There's a reason the musical Chicago was based in Chicago. It's a city long known for corruption, a place where people use political connections to get special deals.
The idea that you're entitled by holding public office to private gain, these are things that have a rich and long and unfortunate history.
Well, that's pay to play.
Pay to play?
Pay to play.
Pay to play.
Is that legal? Pay to play? Adam Andrzejewski of the group OpenTheBooks.com says in Illinois, it's just how things are done. So what does it mean, pay to play?
Well, I think Chicago is a hot mess of political corruption. I mean, when you think of Chicago, what do you think about? Mobsters, Al Capone, you think about aldermen going to jail, you think about judges going to jail. And we think that in Chicago, the #1 manufactured product is actually corruption.
From politicians who are supposed to make things better.
Right. I mean, the definition of play to play, very simply, is give campaign cash, get a government contract. And we have a mayor right now who pledged to end this culture. He pledged to end
when he was running for office, he said that. But look, this happens everywhere. Ray Nagin of New Orleans, he's in jail now. Bribery conspiracy tied to payments he received granting city contracts. Charlotte's ex-mayor, 44 months in prison. Cash airline tickets. Politicians, cash airline tickets, that's clearly off. But it's usually legal. Contribute to my campaign, and then we'll hire your law firm.
Right. And in Chicago, we studied how Rahm did on his promise. So we did an oversight report of his campaign cash. And over the course of the last 4 years, 1,500 companies gave him money, or their employees. We put those companies through the city of Chicago checkbook since 2002. And here's what we found. 600 of his campaign donors were also vendors of the city, and they gave Rahm Emanuel $7 million of campaign funds, and they reaped since 2002 $2 billion worth of city payments. And what this shows us is that Rahm Emanuel is fully in command of the daily political machine, and it also shows us that pay to play is still legal in the city.
It's well worth it to contribute $7 million if you get so much more back. So examples.
So that's a return on investment.
What company?
Okay, Eric Lukowski. And who is Eric Lukowski? He's an entrepreneur.
Head of Groupon.
He founded a couple companies, Groupon and Blue Media and Lightbank. Lightbank's the investment firm for Groupon. Well, Groupon was worth $6 billion in 2010. But the Democratic governor thought they needed more money, taxpayer money. $3.5 million of taxpayer money. And 2 days after he announced that, Blue Media Group gives Rahm Emanuel a $100,000 campaign donation.
But he didn't just give the millions of dollars. It was a tax break to get them to build some building or stay there.
Sure. They were tax breaks and job training credits. And so Lukowski then becomes CEO of Groupon. And in this election cycle, he's given Rahm Emanuel another $250,000 of campaign cash. Here's the point. All of these transactions separately, they're fully legal, John. But the pattern is troubling.
Yeah, I would say. Groupon didn't call us back. Boeing.
So Boeing Corporation, I think this is an example of just how much corruption in Illinois costs taxpayers. In order to get a world-class company like Boeing into Chicago, and it was a tug-of-war between Chicago, Dallas,
and Denver. They were leaving
Denver.
Washington.
Right.
Maybe.
Chicago put $56 million on the table. Dallas put $14 million on the table. Denver put $18 million on the table. Where did Boeing come? Of course, they came to Chicago. And the difference between $56 million of tax sweeteners and $14 million, like in a well-run state in Texas, that's the corruption tax in order to get a company into Illinois.
Same deal, American Airlines, United Airlines got similar deals. They did get back to us. These donations were made by individuals, says American Airlines. It's not uncommon for executives to contribute to public servants they support. Our executives have great respect for Mayor Emanuel. United, many of our officers personally support Emanuel.
Well, and they own their campaign cash donations. But here's the thing. Rahm Emanuel in 2011 issued an executive order. He was going to stop pay to play. The order says that if you're a city vendor, if you have a city contract, you can't give him political cash. Both of those companies have contracts.
We have him saying that. When he first announced he was running for mayor, he said this.
Government can no longer be an insider's game, serving primarily the lobbyists and well-connected.
Yeah, so much for that.
So American Airlines in 2014, on the same day, 10 executives out of Texas and Washington, D.C., they gave Rahm Emanuel's campaign fund the same amount. It was $5,300 apiece,
so they bundled
$53,000. But United did the same thing. 42 executives gave $73,000 a couple of months before the election. And so, you know, what is the executive order? You know, it's bundled cash, it's same day, same amount from a vendor twice with city contracts.
Law firms, Schiff Harden, $31,000 in donations. They've been paid $370,000 in fees.
Well, this is an interesting example because Schiff Harden, even though they've been paid out all those legal fees for city legal work, they don't actually have a contract with the city. So they're still able to give tens of thousands of dollars of political cash, and they're paid on vouchers, direct payments from the city with no work product disclosed and no purpose for the payment. And this is why Rahm Emanuel's executive order in 2011, it was a sieve. It was never designed to end the culture of corruption at City Hall.
The biggest money probably is the investment firms because they're managing the pension money, and maybe they're good at it, but who gets the fee, who gets the business, who gets the fees?
And John, this is another circumstance of gaming the system. So you've got Grosvenor Capital Management, and they handle city pension money, but not directly. There's a middleman. The middleman has the contract with the city, and the middleman gives the pension dollars to Grosvenor to manage. And Grosvenor makes $444,000 worth of campaign donations to Emanuel.
You could argue that they aren't doing their job for their shareholders if they don't. This is how the system works.
Well, an alderman has suggested that the SEC look into the violation of its rule. You can't manage public pension money and give cash to the public executive in charge of the fund.
The best way to fight this is transparency. Let people know, and you do that.
Well, our founders recognized that. Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. We execute on it at openthebooks.com.
Openthebooks.com. I'm going to stop him from doing his commercial because you can get it on my website. It's on the screen now also. There you can look and see where your money is going. Coming up,